Publicity Secretary, Dr. Kingsley Karo. Please welcome him as he takes the safety moment.
I want to welcome all of us to this very important technical meeting. This is the first one in the month of the year of 2024. So once more, welcome all of us to this important meeting in the city of Port Harcourt. We thank God for giving us continuous journey messages. All of us who have come from far, thank you for coming around this morning. And despite your location you have, most of us are connected here, seated here. Some persons are also connected virtually too, as this meeting is about to start. We want to share some safety moments with us. I know safety is something that is borders on every one of us here, whether at home, workplace, where we are traveling. We also need to observe some safety measures. This meeting is a hybrid one, both physical and virtual, like I rightly said. So for all of us seated here, I want to say welcome. I will just share some reminders which all of us are aware of, but to help us as we go through the session together successfully. Staying safe is everybody's business. And that's why we cannot do without being safe or remaining safe. We want to ensure that as we are all seated here, anything that will bring about distractions, we want to take note of that and ensure that we do not also cause distraction for others or anything that will cause accidents anywhere we have. I will share some few points together. Permit me to do that. So one thing that's very paramount to all of us here or to individuals is as we travel, we make use of our cell phones. This is the age of technology. So we can't do without our cell phones. So whether you are driving, whether you are seated here, you want to ensure that your phones are within a situation where it will be in the vibration mode. Do not distract somebody seated close to you. Because we all want to enjoy the session together. So we want to see to it that we have our cell phones set on vibration mode so that we enjoy the session together. Then for those of us who are driving, although we're not driving here, we're already seated. The friends who are on their way here, perhaps, it's just something we do every day. We are living here, we're turning back, we drive. That public transport or a personal vehicle. We want to receive calls in such a way that we don't cause accidents on the road or to those who are seated with us. If it's important you have to pick your calls, then we need to stop over, pull over, and answer such calls. Number 2 points we need to have in mind is to know where we are. Yes, very important. So why are we here and where are we now? Of course, we can identify that we are what? In hotel what? Presidential. And that we are safe here. Not so. We are very safe here. We are concerned about the safety of every personnel that is seated here. And that's why arrangements have been made to ensure that we can quickly identify with your location at every given time if there's case of emergency. Number 3 point I want to share with us is in case of emergency, it could be fire accident or anything we don't plan for. How do we know our exit points? Well, to the far left here, where we just come from, this is our exit point here. So the way you came, this is one of the exit points. There are 2 of them, but one of them is by the far right, this way there, your right. So that is the muster point or the exit point if you need to go out in case of any eventuality, which we don't pray for at all. Then number 4, we cannot rule out discussion. This is happening for us to have interchange of, to widen out. Not so. Some of us have not seen each other for some months. So definitely, yes. So this is time for us to have some discussion together. The be as it may, it should be done in such a way that it will not distract others from, gaining the maximum benefit of why we are all here. So we want to do that quietly, calmly, so all of us can, enjoy the program together. Take note too that if you need to use the convenience, you just have to go up a bit. The one downstairs is not working very well. So when you step out, you take the staircase up. Then you see that for the convenience for male and female respectively as you go upstairs. So let's take note of this point. Then in case of first aids, we believe we'll be okay. So if there's need for first aids, arrangements are made for us to call any of the attendants who will attend to you. Probably you need to take paracetamol or something of that kind. We're going to see how we can do to get you one. Then for the virtual meetings, there are some friends who are connected virtually. One of the things we have when we have meetings like this virtually, that people leave their phones on mute or the devices on mute. So you see interference from this end here. So we want to beg you, please, to mute your device. You have. If there's need for question and answer, Q&A, we're going to draw your attention and you can be allowed to make your comments. So let's take note of this points as we enjoy the program together. And lastly, we want to take note that even here in the hall, we have some cables, wires here and there. So as you go out, you want to be mindful of those cables so you don't trip off and probably, cause any accident to yourself or others around you. These are the safety moments we need to take to mind. I believe we are going to enjoy the session together. And once more, I want to thank you all for coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kingsley Carroll, for the safety moments. It's quite clear. So I want to welcome everyone once again, but I'll leave that honor later to the PhD, the one who is in charge of this chapter, to give you more introductions as a good welcome remark when the time comes. So at this point in time, we would like to bring some special people to the high table. We'd like to bring some special people to the high table. I would like to say it's really a privilege to be here today because we have amongst men and women, as we say in Nigeria, of timber and caliber. And I think we can put our hands together for all those who made the time to be here this morning. So there are certain persons we're going to bring to the high table to chair this occasion and to lead us in this technical session. And I would love to start, first of all, with the chairman of this occasion today. He's none other than Professor Emeka Ekwezo. Let's put our hands together for him as he comes forward to take his place on the high table. Keep putting those hands until he settles down into his seat. You're welcome, sir. We have amongst us, I say these are great men. We've seen their faces. They're also here present in this chapter. Please, I'd like to invite to the high table Professor Emeritus, is also an emeritus member of NAPE, Professor Winston Bell Gam. Please put your hands together for him as he heads to the high table. Next on my list, yet again, a fellow of NAPE. Please, I'd like you to welcome to the high table, Dr. Felix Njoku. You're welcome, sir, to the high table. Another high-ranking member of NAPE who led us in the opening prayer. She's certainly going to be on the high table. Please welcome Dr. Mrs. Constance Moru to the high table. Now, we don't have only people here from Port Harcourt alone. We have people from Lagos. And not just any people, the people that make NAPE to be NAPE. Please, I'd like you to welcome our own president of NAPE. He's the Chief Technical Officer of Pan Ocean and New Cross. Please welcome Mr. Abiodun Ogunjobi. And certainly, the next person on the high table is our own leader, our own catalyst, Mr. Energy. I call him Mr. Energy. Please, I'd like you to welcome our own PHCC, Dr. Magnus Kanu, to the high table. All right, there are great people here in the auditorium with us, and we would like to recognize them as well before we move on to the next part. Please, I'd like, with the recognition, you could stand on your feet when we call your name so we can properly recognize you. Please, I'd like you to recognize Mr. Jake Emepo. He's the Advisory Council for NAPE. He's also of Shell. We have here with our president, also the vice president of NAPE. He's with the NAOC, Mr. Ehi Bazwaye. We have here as well the Publicity Secretary of NAPI, Mr. Austin Ingbemere. We have amongst us as well the coordinator of the Uyo and Calabar chapter of NAPI from the Akwa Ibom State University. Please welcome Dr. Thomas Harry. We have also, he's everywhere, both in Port Harcourt and in Lagos. He is the editor-in-chief, the national editor-in-chief of NAPI, Associate Professor Kunle Sofolabo. We also have from our sister association, the NMGS. We have the state chairman here with us, Mr. Joseph Achanya. And also, if you have any problems in NAPI, there's one man you must call. He's not seated in front because he's doing some work at the back. Please welcome the head of the NAPI Secretariat, Mr. Lawrence Osuagu. So once we have other persons among us, we're going to surely make them known in the course of the meeting. So at this point, forgive us a welcome address and the opening remarks. I would like to invite right now our own state, our own chapter leader, the PHCC, Dr. Magnus Kanu, to give us his welcome address. Please put your hands together for him.
Please help me and thank the APCC. Give him a big hand, please. Well, a very good morning, distinguished. In the room today, and those, of course, connected virtually, you can already begin to sense that we are on course, to a solid start of the year 2024. I know that talking about starting the year 2024 in the month of March, you could say that's a slow start, right? But something I can assure you today is that as we are starting today, we are going to fly. We are on course to flying this year with people like you already along that spirit. Just to let you know that the April edition already is being planned. So a tentative date will be announced here today to give you a heads up and begin to prepare yourself for it. But while on that train of thought, I'd like to hold it there and give honor to whom honor is due. And I know that I've committed a lot of blunders here today because arresting and uprooting people like the very respected Professor Emeka Ekwezo without even prior information. And he is chairing this occasion today. Please give me a big hand. I'll do the proper honors, but today we are privileged to have the president of the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists, Mr. Abiodun Gunjabi. I know you've been introduced before, but I can't stop talking about it because this visit has been a massive blessing. You with your team, the VP himself, and the very respected member of the National Executive Committee being here for this work. We deeply appreciate. So we have a full house to kickstart the year, to tell you that we have the blessings from above, and then the rest can flow in prosperity for the rest of the year, And while at that, of course, you and your team have some time to talk to us in the course of this meeting at some point. We, of course, Jay came up or has been recognized the Harcourt chapter representative in the advisory council. Jake, thank you much for making our time to be here. And of course, our veterans, again, Professor Ekwezo, thank you very much. Sir, let me tell you something now. I tried to reach you. I called you. I sent SMS. But that highlights how busy you are. I can understand. No, sir, tell me sorry that you're here today. I am happy the goal was achieved. Thank you very much. And yes, sir. Yes, sir, I'll give you after. And of course, Professor Bergam, thank you, sir, for being here. And Dr. Constance, when they reached you and they told me you're going to be here, I was so delighted. I'm going to, because you didn't give me the, I'm going to find you. But, you know, all of you at the high table, you are the veterans, the fellows, the people we look up to. Because you came this part, that's why we can have today. And because all of us are going through this part, that's why we can have, you know, a tomorrow for the next generation, for all the services you've rendered to this great association. It's a form of showing that you believe in our country and what future holds for us. I'd like to recognize, moving on, all our corporate members. Of course, many of them are here. Shell is here. Total Energies here. And of course, I have Means Energy here. I have Trenchmark. Provide platforms for our corporate and individual members, you know, to thrive in their geosciences interests. And what am I doing today is to invite you to that opportunity that exists. Seize it, take it, and make the most of it. There is a lot that can happen, you know, when we participate like this. Take, for instance, if you're talking about your company and the kind of things you do at meetings like this, yes, there are quite a number of us in this room, but more are connected virtually today. And I recognize those online today as also very credible members of and participants in this meeting today. So there is no telling how far that news can go because the entire world is connected to this today. So at this point, I'd like to recognize our sponsors for today who actually made it possible. You know the way it is in NAPI. So Shell, the logo should be up. Shell Nigeria. Please, let's put our hands together for Shell for sponsoring Tinitov. Shell has been there over the years, you know, and it is my firm belief that this relationship will continue to blossom and it's not about to end anytime soon. Thank you very much. Shell, we deeply, deeply appreciate this symbiotic relationship because you also have gained some from NAPI. Am I overreaching in saying this? I'm not, right? I'm not. So, but again, it's also a call to all our corporate members that there are slots this year you can take to really also, you know, sponsor and then showcase your, you know, your activities and your products. And I'm sure that Mr. President will have a few more words to say along that line. I know I may have missed some, but let me also spend this time to say a big thank you to my Protocol chapter ESCO. They've been very, very resilient. And in planning for this meeting, thank you guys. We've banded like a team and a family, and together we continue to do great things. All I'm going to wish you today is please sit back. Shell has brought a very top quality presentation, to share very deep information and knowledge with us. Please take in everything you can take, and where there are questions, please feel free to ask those questions. Information that will be released, we will release. If we need to sanitize some things before they are shared further, we'll also confer. But this is very open. Feel free, enjoy every moment that we connect together today. I don't know if I missed anything. If I did miss anything, we're going to come back and then make up. But I deeply appreciate all of you, sirs and ma, for honoring us with your presence today. And I trust it's going to be like you prayed, ma. We are going to be blessed in this meeting today. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate. So let me welcome the EIC to come and drive us forward.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, this is the time we've all been waiting for, and we just go straight to our presentation with all honor. I still stand on the existing protocol, but I will not kill it. Because when a lot of people stand on it, it gets to be depressed. At this point, I would like to introduce our speaker for us. He's a one-time UAP chair of NAPE. That means the man that bridged the gap between the academia and the industry. A senior exploration geoscientist with Shell Nigeria. And this is no other person than Dr. Adelola Adesida. And the title of the topic is Unlocking Exploration and Development Opportunities in Deepwater Nigeria using regional geology and high-end geophysical tools. So you're welcome, sir, as you present to us. So we need to listen. Please take your jotter, jot down all the questions you want to ask, because this is going to be very interactive. Thank you very much, sir.
Do I have a laser pointer? If not, maybe just a wireless mouse or something is okay. So while we are sorting that out, let me use this opportunity to say thank you so much for coming. All right. All right, thank you. So I said, let me say a big thank you to our panelists, our chairman, the ESCOs, the Advisory Council. We are so grateful for your presence. And not taking your presence here for granted at all. I'm really, really thankful for your coming. It's all right if there's no pointer, I'll just go through it. So again, my name is Adelola Adesida. A senior exploration geoscientist, work with for Shell. In the specialist geosciences team in Nigeria. The topic of the presentation this morning is unlocking exploration and development opportunities in Deepwater Nigeria using regional geology and high-end geophysical tools. So let's go to the next slide. This is a disclaimer, just saying that on the presentation today, please, you may not necessarily plan your business activities based on this. It's just a disclaimer. The outline is as follows. I'll briefly introduce this, the intent of the presentation, the business drivers, then go to the data that you really need to do this work. Data integration, interpretation workflow, then I'll go to the regional context, talk about the structural geology aspects, and then stratigraphy. Then I'll take a few case studies, exploration, then development. Then I'll summarize and share the business impacts. Let's go to the next. So the first is the intent, right? Why this presentation today? The first line there says, Nigeria is among the top 10 countries with the largest remaining crude oil, right? And condensate deep water reserves. Top 10. And that is
reserves that we are yet to exploit, to produce. And for us to do that, to take critical business decisions, for instance, you want to bid for deepwater blocks, you want to take FIDs, that is final investment decisions, or you are planning to drill an NFE, near field exploration well, or even a frontier well, whatsoever you want to do, the critical decision that you are going to take must be founded on a geological model, either the regional model or the field scale model. And that is the starting point, right? Of course, other things are taken into consideration, economics and all kinds of things. But that's the starting point, the foundation. So once the foundation is faulty, then all the other parameters, whatever it is, economics you are putting on that foundation will collapse. That's why this is key, right? So the intent is to show how we use regional geology, your understanding of geology, of the area, regional geology, the fiscal geology, and then in conjunction with our high-end geophysical tools to understand our geological model, to build a robust geological model. Of course, as geologists, we have uncertainties. We have our base case, we have our low case, we have our high case, and all kinds of cases. But you must have at least a credible model. And I tell people, okay, my background is geology and geophysics. As a geologist, then gradually up a degree in applied geophysics and exploration geophysics and PhD. So I said, in all that you do, it's always good to understand the geology. When you say geophysics, it's also not physics, just physics. It's not pure physics. Applied physics in a way. Apply the principles of physics to solve geophysical problems, right? Geological problems. So you need to understand the geology, and that's why this is important. So we'll talk about the geology, and we'll talk about the tools that we use to understand geology. It's just a brief introduction of myself. I think I can skip that. I was in the academia for some years, about 8 years before I joined the industry. So about data, let's talk about data. The first thing is that so you have various data sets. And that's, I really thank Share for the opportunity I have really to work in several areas of the basin. Data is key, right? So you have your key wells, you have your well tops, you have your pressure data, your physical data, your biostrat data, your pores or the photographs and all kinds of data. And then we integrate so that we are not using a particular data set in isolation. I see something on seismic and I run with it. No. Integrates other data sets so that fully what you use for your interpretation. So different kinds geological features, right, that are of interest. For instance, some faults, maybe crestal faults, major faults, minor faults. I want to see those things. Graphic features. So the way you condition the data set, for instance, the seismic data sets matters. It will help you to highlight some features that you want to see, either the structural features or the stratigraphic things that you see. Then your understanding of what that data set is telling us is also important. So I tell people that when I want to look at stratigraphy, I don't go, for instance, for the fast tags. Why? Because I know that we pick up more of those fluid indicators and anomalies that I have, whereas I'm primarily interested in the stratigraphy. So I use, that is maybe something like 0 to 10 degree stack, angle stack, or you are in the outer shelf, and then you go to the inner shelf, gross depositional environment now, and take your analog there. It won't work because they are not within the same gross depositional environment or setting. Choose the right analog for the right evaluation. So it's important. Apart from that also, you can also calibrate, some of these things that you see with existing parameters, wear data and all that. So I'll still talk about it as we go into the presentation. Again, I said, let's start with geology. And I'm also thankful for the opportunity that I have. So when I started onshore, land team, HPHT. And then I told people, I said, gradually, I'm going from the land, I'm going to swamp. So I then went to swamp field. I started looking at the swamp data, coastal swamp and all that. Then gradually, I went to shallow offshore. Then now I work deep water. So why is that important? It's good because it helps you to see the delta, to see the regional setting from onshore to offshore. If you are just looking at this, and that's what some companies have, so be it. Because maybe you have a block here, that's what you have, or maybe here. But then it's good to have this kind of regional lines so that you understand the inputs, the structures, the geology from onshore to shallow offshore to deep water offshore. What this session is showing us is a lot. So many things are here. First, let's look at the structures. So we see that onshore here we have, this down to basin faults, extensional settings, and all that, right? And then you see around the shallow water offshore, you see so many crestal faults there. That's where you have all those collapse crests, K-types, and all kinds of faults that you have. Then as you are going gradually, you see all these deep regional faults. These ones are the counter-regional faults. And they are extensional, and they have, this is important because it gets so deep into the, I'm not talking about source rocks today, but at least it helps you to tap into your source rock. And then as you go from this setting in the shallow offshore, you gradually go into the deep water offshore, you then see some compressional things coming in. You are leaving the extensional, you are going into the compressional. That is the stage like a transition. If you like, a translational domain. You are going from extensional into the compressional. Then you go into the full compressional setting. And that is where you have your thrust and all that. Why is this important? It's important to understand this. The extensional, of course, the extensional ones that you have, structures that we have here, of course, there you have your rollover structures, your back-to-back structures, and all kinds of structures that you can have. But as you go from there to here, that has changed a bit. You then have folds, and within those folds, you have some that are shear-coiled and other kind of things. And you have that transition. So as you are interpreting, you need to understand, I also teach some of our students, some of this one, some of the in one of our universities where I'm a guest lecturer. So what we see is that the type of structures you then interpret, to show some example matters, because if you that very, you can drill it well, just because you understand how the structural element there. So many wells fail because of structure. So it's important to understand that. So that's number one. Number two, we also see stratigraphy, right? You may not see it clearly here because of this one that is covering it, but it's very important. You see that within the onshore part, in the continental parts, you see that low gamma ray, high resistivity section, that's the continental part, mainly made up of sands, beneath formation and all that. But as you go into, the basin further, you then see, of course, sand and shale, formation and all kinds of things that you have there. Apart from that, I told us about the Bastra data that we then use to understand the various stratigraphic units that we have. For instance, you can see from here, we have the Zanclean, the Messinian, the Teutonian, and all kinds of things. But it's important to note also that in the Messinian, you see what we call the Messinian expansion, and then the Teutonian expansion. This happened during the sea level drop that we have, major sea level drop in the Messinian and also in the Teutonian. That is, if you, for some of you can Google it, you see that it is, if you look at the relative global sea level curve, you see that major drop, sea level drop in the Messinian and the Teutonian. And that's very important. Because of that sea level drop, sediments were able to, they were deposited far into the basin. And even shallow water offshore. In some of those fields, you see that it's Messinian really, that is the bread and butter for the shallow offshore in some of those fields. And the Teutonian. And the Cerevelian. Even as you go onshore also, around here, you see that. And you also see that there, near that place, you then see those deep cuts, canyons, or if you like, inside valley fields in the onshore area. Those are the areas where the sediments were taken, eroded, and then deposited deep into the, in the deep water offshore. So that's very important. We then have a model. So based on this, we understand where we sit in the basin before you get there. Like I mentioned, you then want to do, you want to bid for deep water blocks. You don't just rush into it. Do you understand what you are going into? You have the data, but do you understand it? So the first thing is, I need to understand the setting. What structural setting? Am I still within the extensional, or am I in the transition, or am I in the trust domain, the food trust domain? And then what type of settings, stratigraphy should I expect and all that? That's very important. This figure, I'm not sure you have seen it very well, but here you see a map and it's showing some fracture zones, right? Some faults. So you have those ones that are extensional that go into the basin like stress slip. They are also constrained the deposition that you have around there. So you have this lobe and you have this other one just within that area. I'll still have the opportunity, we can talk about it. That's this sectional, regional setting in terms of the structures and the stratigraphy. What I'm going to do now is that gradually I'm going from the regional scale, I'll zoom in a bit into this section, this green area that I've highlighted. And what we've done is that I've taken one of these regional surfaces, right? And I've produced a stratigraphic sculpt with it, right? To understand the area. And what we then see is that there are so many things here. Of course, we have wells, but before the wells, first, I want to understand my sediments, my entry points, the entry points of the sediments that I have. And so you see that this is a regional map. Yeah, this is to the north. And then you have the fold. This one is what you have here. So that's the fold there. And you then see some channels. This is deep water. So some channels that, you know, traveled from onshore to shallow offshore, then to the slope area. Then you then have these feeder channels that turn into aprons, and if you like, lobes. You see that clearly. So these bright fasces are the sand-prone fasces that you have. Then the dark ones are the shale-prone fasces. Apart from that, we also see some late-stage channels, right? Those ones are important in one of the fields, and in one of the presentations I gave, I think, NAPE last year, talking about the importance of these late-stage channels, especially when you want to place your wells, right? Apart from that also, you then see that you have some mini basins. So you have the fold, you have the mini basins, you have another mini fold here, then the mini basins. As the sediments travel from the source further into the basin, you then see that some are draped, as the ones we call the aprons here, and some of those mass transport complexes deposited there. So when you have this type of stratigraphy sculpt, how do I then calibrate or grant truth? This is a typical example. See, there is a well here. This well 2 strike 2 penetrated this one. And then we have the well top, and we're able to calibrate this using that well top. This clearly shows that if I have a sand-prone unit or facie here outside this, and the well has not seen it, then that means whatever I'm showing is not correct. So we need to calibrate, right, with the right data set. Apart from that, you should also understand the seismic response of the units you're interested in. So for instance, where you have it, where you have well data, we have gamma ray, we have the resistivity, and we have some of those logs here, and even some, I think, sonic logs there. So it tells us here that, okay, the top of what I'm looking at here is, it has a soft top, but you see that some are also having hard tops. So that's very important. So there are various types of plays that you can have there. Here, I'm just showcasing the Messinian play. We have proven that in several blocks. The combinations of the things you see a kind of stratigraphic and structural trap combination of structures and stratigraphy to form the trap there. The reservoirs are mostly these confined or semi-confined slope turbidites, like you can see in that area, inboard, and then outboard also you can have basin floor fans. Charge is always of interest to us, and then looking at this type of figures, you can see that indeed you need those deep-seated faults, right, to especially to have access to the source rocks in the Oligocene. This is like a model that's just showing this. So you have, again, sediments coming northeast, southwest into the slope settings. And then you have the mini basins and the aprons there. So I'll go now into, I talked about, so remember we started from the regional setting. We zoomed in a bit using one of our stratigraphic surfaces. Then I now want to talk about fault interpretation from geology to geophysics. So the first thing is we understand the setting. We know that in that area, for instance, in this area that I'm going to use as an example, I'm in an extensional stroke compressional setting. I'm going from extensional to fully compressional. So it's a transition zone. And so the type of force that I should be seeing should be partly extensional, and some around that fold should be reverse force compressional. And I should also see folds. So I don't just do manual now, right? We don't do manual. That's why we then put our geophysical tools. Manual interpretation is too good. I use it. But then it's good to use your tools. To do that, like I said, you need to condition your data sets, right? Condition it in a way that you'll be able to highlight the structural features that you have. Database of what faults look like. Normal faults in an extensional setting, least strict faults, kinds of faults, or even reverse faults, planar ones and all that. So you have them in that database. And then I have the data that I've already conditioned to highlight those structural features. I then use that tool, my AI tool software, right? So then look through the cube, the seismic cube that I have, and say, if you recognize this pattern, then highlight it as a fault and keep it somewhere for me as a cube. right? So you have that. The next thing that you can do is that you want it to be more interactive. I don't just want to give that data set to the tool to go through it. I want to tell the application that this is a fault, and then train with that. And then when it now suggests that, okay, based on what you have shown me, I see this, then I also see it another line in another place. Is this a fault also? I can say, yes, I validate it, it's a fault. Or no, you didn't get it. It's not a fault. Delete it and retrain again. So you can do that. You can make it interactive. What it then does, I hope I've not switched it off. Okay, thanks. So what it does is that it will then generate what you call, if you like, your four segments, your four probability cubes, and all kinds of things, showing you that in this area, the likelihood that you have a fault is very high. The probability is about 90%. But in this area, the probability is 0 or whatever. So that's what you have. When you get that, don't run with it. QC, that's where you come in as a geoscientist, right? So what we then do is that you have other tools also, like 2 or 3 tools that I can then use to check, or if you like, QC the faults that I've interpreted, right? And check the geometry of these faults. Is it geological, kind of? Just looking at the geometry, the shape, the throw, all kinds of things that if you throw in your stratigraphy, is it okay? So the system will say, okay, I look at this fault, I think the geometry is a bit weird. It's not looking geological. I light it for you to check manually. Or it's okay, it's good to go. And then it's all green. Yet I'm not satisfied. So I take all the faults again, I look at them one by one. At times you can have so many faults, but at least you have the ones that have been highlighted, that these ones you need to check again. Your knowledge of geology also comes into play there. So you check, and then when you are satisfied, you are good to go. Let's go to the next one. I told you about integration. So what you have here are, so first you have the uninterpreted, and it's always good to do this. Show the uninterpreted section, the interpreted. So uninterpreted, you have the seismic, you have the 4 probability cube there, showing, highlighting the faults and the wells, and then the interpreted. So these are 1 second, these are 3 seconds, these are 3.9 seconds, and you have the wells. So you see that generally those faults are, you have some that are east-west, and you have some that are mostly like northeast, southwestern kind of geometry there. And you have the 3D cube here, the seismic sections, and the 4 probability cubes and all that. So you have this. Once you have this in the cube, then that means whatsoever you want to throw into this, you are gradually building, if you like, a watertight model, a credible model. So that you want to do your NFA, you want to build, you want to do this, the models will be based, those decisions will be based on some of these models that you create. Let's go to some specific examples now. So this is a section. It's taking approximately north-south. You can see from A to A prime. And these are the things, the tool that I use to highlight the faults. I've already shown me. So it's showing me that, look at this place. It appears there's a fault. Look at this place, there's a fault and all that. But this is interesting because it's showing that previous interpretation that we have was like this. Without this tool, the line was drawn, interpreted this way, down. And then when you do your horizon interpretation, of course, it's going to impact what you do. But a careful look shows that, no, it's not like that. There are like 2 sets of 2 faces of structuration there. this. Maybe I should just talk to this. Okay. So you see two things that are happening here. First, the extensional part, and then the compressional part. But if you don't look at it carefully, you say, oh, that's good. There's a line and it draws it from top to bottom. Single fault. No way. It's not. The first set is the extensional part. The second part is the compressional phase. That is because you understand that setting, that's translational setting. So you first have, and you can see the fold, right? And then you can see the faults. So these type of checks, very useful, are key, right? Key. Just a small relay, fault relay, can cost millions of dollars, especially deep water. So be careful, even offshore. So those things are important. Let me now go to some examples so that I can have some time to talk about, answer some questions. So I'll just use this, just one slide on exploration opportunities, not a specific place, please, just generally. So the first thing you see then is using those tools. So this tool, what it does is it's like giving you your review on the fly. And what you see is that you have your well, right? Of course, this well was drilled several years ago, so you didn't have the opportunity to use this tool. So you have the structure, but that well missed this opportunity, right? Because it was not seen. But based on this, now we see that, look, there's a structure there. You have your channels there, and you have this opportunity. You have the brightening. Then understanding, like I said, I won't go into too much rock physics now, but just understanding your seismic, the response you are expecting from the tool, from your reservoir, this acoustic response is important. So this reservoir, when you look at the sonic section, you then see that it goes from indeed soft, but the top is indeed hard. Then the reservoir itself is soft. So the top of that reservoir is hard. That's why when you look at this section, you see it's going more into this class 2, class 1 kind of things. And it's a bit more simple. There are others. So you look at other things that you can do, other stratigraphic attributes that you can have, also showing some of those very soft channels and some other things that you have. These channels, the margins, and the axis, and all kinds of things, just showing you your quality, the quality of your reservoirs. For Messinian play, this one, being a bit younger than this, you see that the response is different, right? So again, it's the geology that is the background, geology, geophysics. And as we are doing this, we are working, of course, closely in conjunction with our geophysics colleagues, my processing geophysicists, and all the other people supporting us there. So this shows that indeed you can see that instead of being in the realm of class 1, class 2, this is mostly within class 3, and it's showing indeed. And here you have a well. So this well found hydrocarbon, and then you have this opportunity there showing that indeed this is of importance. What you can also see is that this fairway that extends from being a channel, from going into this kind of apron kind of settings, is it possible that it's linked? So these are some of the risks that you can also talk about. Apart from that, you can So in this one, we don't just use a cube. So you have various cubes put together, then you can look at various attributes, looking at various types of cubes, the nears, the fars, all kinds of stats. You can put them together to have this type of display. And again, this is highlighting again that if you want to put your contact, maybe you can put it somewhere. You know what to do. You place your words very well. Of course, structures, channel of rhinos, a combination of structural and stratigraphic traps. You see that a lot. So you look at your prospect or your field, and you say, okay, what are your prospect, especially in exploration setting? Here, I have structural trap. Here, I have stratigraphic. Here, I have all kinds of things helping me to have a trap there that is valid. And the petrophysical properties of those things are very important. It's good for us to understand them. So what's the distribution? What's influencing that distribution is, right? What's the impact of the structures, the deposition? Is it proximal? Is it distal? And all that, like we have seen in all those things. So these are some of the things that we usually take into consideration. Let me close with this one, with the business impact and the recommendation. So what impact does this have on what we do? It's a business. It's not just like we say, it's not just about amplitudes, right? It's about making money. So the first thing is, understand the regional and the field scale setting. Regional structural stratigraphy, have regional maps. Don't just look at sized data sets or field scale. I think the best thing is to do regional first. Even if you are not doing that yourself, find maybe papers or whatever work that has been done to understand where you sit. Put the regional context there before you throw in other things. The second thing is that, so that helps us a lot. So once we understand that, we can say, okay, I like this block, I don't like that block. I'll bid for this, I won't bid for that. Right, it's very important. Lead identification, so yeah, that's what I've just told you, participation or no participation and exploration bid runs. It's based on some of those, the models that you already have. Then when you want to do your NFE, that is near field exploration, it's very important. You want to drill wells that are close to your assets so that you minimize, they're not making part of whatever you are doing. So it's important to understand those kind of field scale models, because that will help you to determine, okay, do I need two wells, 3 wells? Will it work? Will it not work? Will I have issues and all that? So that's very important. So we use that to de-risk our business models a lot. Effective placement of valuable wells, producer injector well pairs. That's very important. So what are the recommendations? Number 1, use your AI-based tools, machine learning, AI, all kinds of things that we throw in. Yes. Whatever attributes, fancy figures that we generate, if you cannot calibrate, if you cannot grant truth, if you cannot, say this is this, then it's of no, it's just fanciful. We need to calibrate and use the right analogs, like I said, analogs that are relevant. You are looking at outer shelf, pick your analogs from the right environment. You are looking at the inner shelf, pick your analogs, or slope setting, pick your analogs from the right setting. These are the recommendations that I have, and I thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share this with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adesida. That was a wonderful one. That aspect I love was saying this is not just all about technical, but we also have to talk about business. And I can see a lot of business people around shaking their head and say, yeah, this is what we want to hear. So you're all welcome. So at this point, I will hand over to the chairman to please direct us on this time for question and answers now. So maybe we just pick from row by row to ask.
Thank you very much. I think all I need to do is just to, on behalf of my co-chairs, to congratulate Dr. Adesida for this very sumptuous meal, I will call it. I mean, this is, we couldn't get anything better than this. He's a geologist, a geophysicist, and he has shown us very clearly how powerful it is to apply this knowledge, the skill he has in regional geology, and now with the geophysics. And you can see that he has shown clearly that, on a scientific basis, you can actually do add a lot of value, to exploration. And I think this is good, especially for our students who are here. You can see, you can get something from this, even if you didn't understand the tools, because some of them are, some of us, I can see Dr. Constance and Prof. Talking of AI, now this is beyond our level. So I mean, you guys are really very fortunate. You have all these tools, and I could see the way it was applying AI. Interestingly, and then again going back to the basic geological training we had, that you must ground truth. For the onshore and shallow offshore, are those faults also deeply, very deep? Because it is important for us to understand that when we're talking about, the feelings, the migrations and so on of charge. That's the only question I have. Otherwise, I think we should congratulate him for this. And it's a wonderful thing. And I want to say that I think it's also important for us to congratulate Shell. Shell, I mean, we must say it, whatever happens, wherever I am, I'll always say it, Shell has contributed substantially to understanding the geology of the Niger Delta. I think we should give them an applause for that. Sometimes we're carried away by the politics and all that. Yes, there are some areas that they've had some difficulties, but I can tell you that I don't want to use percentage, but a very substantial concerning the geology of the Niger Delta has been done by Shell. And it wasn't just by chance. It was intentional, and they have involved our people to be part of it, and we see it. Most of the marginal field operators, the other operators, they're one way or the other a Shell. It's because they were well trained. So I'm not saying this, to say that the other companies have not done.
Based on this flow, the thickness. So what you can see, the thickness of this and why is so road there is so what you expect so you expect okay, there's going to be someone. Okay, there is flow. Okay, the thickness of this already just 13 meters, the flow is 300 meters, but that right? Maybe the one they throw is about 500 meters. Okay, maybe something good is happening. So to do analysis. So qualitative analysis, yes, then quantitative analysis, and enforcement analysis are part of this. There are some that we don't do, like not this before manually. Like it. So yes, because it helps you to really understand what you are saying, not just do some things in secret. I use those once you do this. But it's also when you start with the manual, you understand what you are saying, why this one is. Then you like the other, the parameters and what you are doing. So thinking is key. That's because it will help you to understand. I think the last, we can go back to the presentation. There was a section that you see where if you're just looking at in column so that's thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Dr. Jide Geology Engineer. Yeah, Dr. Adesida, very brilliant one as usual. Thank you very much. Something caught my attention. Yeah, the first line in your recommendation, the AI-based tool is very, very good. But we must not throw away geology. Prof alluded briefly to that. We have a lot of young people in the room. Today, we have a lot of Nintendo geologists. They can push petrol, they can push any tool, but they don't know the geology that goes through what they are pushing. So it's very, very important that we know the geology. When you know the geology very well, iterations will come, you will see different things based on different algorithms. You can begin to make meaning. I remember late Dr. Okoli, Uniport those days, would say, why tie, you're supposed to tie your belt around your waist. But some people tie their belts through their tummy. You know, tie your belt and through your alimentary canal to the other side. Because you don't know, it's supposed to go around your waist. So it's very important that the geology, we need to know the guiding principles of geology, the different rules, the different theories, and we can begin to apply this. So the human factor is very important. AI will do a lot of things for you, but if you don't humanize it properly, you will be in trouble. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. We talked about some we know to know which of the data sets we basically use to analyze some activity. Then future we actually display on sizing or something or surfaces where they're talking about channel. These features are they predominant in certain areas of our exploration, say onshore, water, and all of that. Thank you. Thank you so much. So the channels from the last question will take it. And you know, I mentioned that when I started to evaluation to receive it. So you have the ideas. And it's simple. Once you have those share this, then you have that materials. That's why you see the regional maps, the channels that you want to start. Yeah, this way. So you see that this channel not just coming from people, came from onshore. That will be to travel because of major single they are behind this challenge. So it's not like one thing. You have them in notice in general directions. So the second thing is what do you use for this? Like I said, understand once you understand what you are doing. In this instance, you are looking for stratigraphy. So what should I use? I use my faster. I will have more influence on what will be happening. Basically, so I want this. So what I then use will be a stack because I want my stratigraphy to be as much as possible. Right? The data could be mixed, noisy. So for this type of things, for regional ones, I can use it. When it comes to this scale, I will recommend that to look at it. If it's not useful, you will it's usually start with it's just my recommendation.
Thank you very much. There's a question online. I want to sincerely apologize to our members online because of the volume and voice. And it's queuing up and on. There's a question online that said, what AI-based tools are recommended to specify the geological understanding of the area? The AI, this is the genetic period. They want to know which of the AI-based tools that can easily be used or recommend for the geological understanding of the area.
So, you know, I'm not allowed. You don't call it usually. So, we don't mention AI tools. For those that use Spectrum, you have this yes, so you use that. I know you can use the geo-based tools, but there are so many. There's so many tools. Again, like we have rightly said, please use them.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I'll just quickly recognize the presence of two major people around here. They are also business personality. The first is the MD of Handset Integrated Science. The other person is my beloved sister and friend, Dr. Mrs. Edith. The director as well. Also in our midst is no other person than the CEO of Polaris with his team. He's an I chief. So I'm too low to pronounce the I chief, but permit me, sir. It's not that person than I chief. Chigoze Dimpa. You're welcome, sir. Also, we have in our midst the CEO and technical manager of Trenchmark, Dr. Nzeribe Oluka. Please can we recognize him. As well as the COO, but the director of technical, Dr. Emmanuel Onyedinazu from Trenchmark. We have business partners in Geoscientist, so they know they are looking at the business aspect of this technical presentation. So thank you very much. So at this point, I will return the mic back to my assistant coordinator to continue with the presentation.
All right, thank you so much. Let's put our hands together one more time for my may take a seat briefly. We have a few things to tidy up. Thank you so much for that quality presentation given by Shell. And yes, Shell is our sponsor today. And at this point, we'll give a moment to Shell as our sponsor to give us the remarks. And to do this on behalf of Shell, I'd like to invite Mr. Jake Emepo. He will come to speak on behalf of the sponsor. Mr. Jake, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I It's nice to see all our elders here. The rock of ages stand. Thank you very much for coming and trying to build this chapter again. I told the president earlier that in my years this year, this is the first time I'm seeing the national president from one of our technical sessions. I think I have just a minute. I think the chairman has done my work with me earlier, so I don't feel about that. Johnny shared and the Nigeria and industry. I think all the problem very well. They're very glad to say about it here. And we are proud to be associated with this country and with the industry and the product and see. The journey continues and is becoming more of our own journey. Shell as a neighborhood and supporting us for this journey, and we are all taking ownership of the journey now, hoping that it's our same place and carry it to the next level. So on behalf of Shell Management, like I said, it's always a pleasure to be saying journey, building people, building the industry, and making sure that our country is the best of it all, the benefits of all this interaction. So thank you very much for coming and honoring of your presence. And Adesida, I've just proven the work that Shell has started. We are on that journey and we're going to start. Thank you very much.
Not so fast. Jake, please, can you come back? Jake's back in my boss. He inspired me to taking up this role. So, thank you very much. Wonderful speech. Thank you. Just to let our corporate members here know that the way that works is through our subscription. I just like share has kicked off this year for us. Please do well. I think we today. We like to acknowledge, these are innovation. We started, so it's a big part to recognize also. And our capability. Quickly invite the president. Today we are doing
oh, what a wonderful shares commitment to NAFI 4-5 million. And what NAFI stands for. And this has been a routine thing for Shell. They have also been part of the development with us. So, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, the Advisory Council, the ESCO, and the Port Harcourt Shell Parents, we want to say a big thank you to Shell for sponsoring this technical business. We always take on technical business. We are done with the technical part now. And I know by the time we start connecting and evolving the business, we start, right? Yeah. Since I told you, it's there for business, right? Thank you so much. So, once again, it's my pleasure to be in Harcourt. I want to say thank you for keeping the core value of NAFI, our gas, finds, oil and gas. President, let me start by thanking the executive of the Port Harcourt chapter for putting this together. Please let me know the land of our NAFI is our core value to promote knowledge exchange, create opportunity for technology, innovations, and advancements to be discussed on how we can do our business of oil and gas data. We have always been a platform for policy advocating, and we have been doing that over the years, and nothing is continue to create that platform where we can share ideas together, where we can connect and collaborate on how we best do the business of this. Okay, so slide here is today as the executive of the Nigeria Association of Petroleum Geology. In first and foremost, we want to connect with every member of the Port Harcourt sector. We want to network, we want to have an interaction. We don't want to wait until November, where we normally have our annual conference, before we can talk together, before we can exchange ideas to keep the vision and the mission of NAPE aligned. So as executive committee members, we are here today. We made some visit yesterday, and I'm happy to see our Miss foundation member. You know, Edith, highly welcome. I saw the Dr. Elijah, yes, welcome. I also saw the Mane is somewhere in the yes, around So what we want to do is to make sure that we want an inclusive association, get everybody along, connect with one another, what ideas we have that you like to share with the executive on how they can promote the core values of NAPE. I want to say thank you to everyone. Let us take advantage of that. We have discussed the technical part, but there is also the business part. This is where we can connect with one another. I shared my thought yesterday with some of our public members. Please come out and tell your stories. There's nobody that will tell your story, but we are doing some wonderful things as indigenous of regions, but we are not telling our stories enough for people to know what we are doing. So now we always give it that back. There's nobody that we have a new technology, a new idea of reducing the cost of doing business and improving the profitability of our A&B that NAPE will not create that part. So at the end of this session, we have the executive of NAPE, we are going to have an interaction section, and I'll be able to share some of the things that NAPE has been able to do since the coming of this current executive, and also have the opportunity to hear from members of the Harcourt chapter on their expectation of NAPE and what they think, what they would like NAPE to continue to do. So thank you everyone for finding the time to be here today. And we are going to make that has been a wonderful stimulating session that we have. Thank you, Dr. Adesida, for sharing your knowledge and your thoughts with us this subject. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for that very wonderful message and address to all of us. We're gradually coming to the end of this meeting. We'll have time to take some announcements, which will be given to us by our General Secretary. But before then, we still want to recognize several other things in our midst, so we don't want to leave anyone out as best as we can. So I'd like to recognize in this meeting, he already spoke earlier. He is the boss of LOG Engineering. Please welcome Dr. Jide Olufuyi. Now, for some of our persons present here, if you hear your company's name or your affiliation, you can rise on your feet so we can see you as well. We would like to also welcome the team from Biometric Geoconsult. Are they here? All right. We also recognize the presence of Crowd Energies. All right. We also have the CEO of Ms. Energy here present. Right. We also have from the NMGS, the Assistant General Secretary, the national body, Mr. Prosper Okonye. We have several affiliations from our universities. Do we have those from RSU here present? Right. Uniports. Right. We also have Polaris here present, one of the companies. Here. We also have one of the, the MD is here. Please welcome the MD of Polaris. Then we also have those who gave you the headshots. They are supporting us here, and they're also a good package. They are those from Sharpshooters. Can we recognize them here? And I deliberately left for last somebody who I called.
Please, a minute. I think we need to recognize sharpshooters some more. You want to do that? These are our partners, local partners as it were. And they are starting to become also national partners to, the national body as well. And you can see, for those of you who have agenda to go into politics and you want to get good like me, you want to get good headshots you can use on your campaign and other stuff, they are there to offer it free of charge. All right, so it's a side attraction. You know, you can just take advantage of that service today, and their partners locally here.
Put your hands together. Maybe because I don't have a political ambition, I wasn't. All right, thank you so much. I know them actually from before now. And I said, especially I left one special man, I call him a special man, I call him a high chief. Ever since I came to Port Harcourt, for me, he has been the face of NAMPI in a way in this place. Please, I'd like you to welcome Emo. Yes. And Emo has been fantastic in the way he passed the baton over to Dr. Kanu, and he has been giving the same support, even though he's not the face. Please put your hands together one more time. All right, so I'd like to invite the GS, Mr. Kalisti, who's going to give us some announcements. And after that, we take the closing prayer and we will be. Yeah, this was okay, yes. Go on. Yeah, we'll announce it before the closing prayer. The announcements. Is it part of this like without? No, the other one.
Thank you very much.
But when's the announcements?
Gentlemen, my colleague,
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
I am very happy to be here today, and I like to get my voice, especially remarks on M1. Keep calling him Dr. M1. Yes, I am happy to be here, and I'm very happy with Dr. Adesida's presentation. And I'd like to have a chat, private chat with him. I also enjoyed the presentation by the businesswoman. And I also like to have a chat with her after this. The reason is this: I'm trying to give something back. Shell has been so dominant, and I grew up to work in settings that always had to recognize that Shell was the oppressor. I worked in exploration for Egypt in Port Harcourt, and then I went on to work in exploration for Mobile in Lagos, and of course, Eket and there. So that's my own background. All the time, we just felt the Shell workers were better treated than us. And we took out that hit on our employers. So some of you can figure out why I didn't stay too long in the industry at that time. But thanks to Schlumberger, which has not been mentioned here, you talk about Shell building the geology and all that. You can't but talk about Schlumberger, about Halliburton, about these companies that actually did all our training, subjected us to settings like this from day one. Presidential, Federal Palace Hotel, Lagos, all the best hotels, to which I was bound to be grateful. And I decided as my own little bit that
to set up an oil and gas institute, which, thank God, was achieved by 2008. And from that period, we've trained over 1,000 youngsters that have gone around and were licensed to do the diploma in petroleum geoscience. We've done that for this number of years, and I decided to give a little more back to create a private university in petroleum geoscience and environment. NUC says they have 14 stages in the federal government to create a private university. And I want to announce to you that I got to the 14th floor, and I'm waiting for them to say that it's a 15th, and I will get there. But I want to ask you, I don't want to go to the 15th and beyond without the collaboration of you smart fellows here. So when the president talked about our interactions, and our dear lady talked about the business aspects of this, I was very happy, because to make it, and for intellectuals to make it, we have to build the best laboratories. We have to use the best tools. We have to use the best minds. So I'm urging all of you to join Optimville. That's the Optimville dream. That's Optimville Private University that will come up. I hope soon. You can make it sooner. From what I have heard of the performances I've seen here today, but we've come a long way. And I want to say that we are located administrative headquarters in a very strategic place in the GRA, right opposite KFC. So should we be going for at the backyard? And just recently, another traditional aspect of KFC called themselves Amala headquarters, became my next door neighbors there. So please, as you pass to some of these exotic places, stop by and see what Optimville, with all the youths behind us, can do for you and your own organization. Thank you very much for a lovely day.
Thank you, Prof. That's Professor Beckham.
All right, thank you very much, Prof, for that moment. But before I go ahead with the announcement, I'd like to give our own Mr. Emo a moment. He has something for us. Thank you.
Once again, good day to us all. SNEPCo Port Harcourt chapter has always competed with the center. And at some point, the center was worried that we're becoming too powerful. Despite the downturn in the industry and the economy generally, I want to here say a big thank you to Shell, Total, who have always been consistent for the past several years. And I also know of Miss Energy and a few other companies that have been very consistent here. I've taken the backstage, yet Dr. Magnus Kano will not allow me to stay at the back. He wants me to be in front with him. I want to promise here that Our elders who are seated here, it's just within a space of 2 days that I finally got across, and they said, no matter the busy schedule, we'll be here for you. No matter the tools we have today, we still need to hear the story from our fathers who will tell us how it all started. So whatever we are doing, they have come to enjoy what we are doing today. But we still need to partner with them to get to where we are going to. Just like the businesswoman also said, the tool she has will still, expect the human angle to come into that tool for it to perform effectively. So please, the kind of gathering we have here today is what we normally enjoy here in Port Harcourt. And if April has already been assigned to a company, which our chapter coordinator will announce to us, the attendance will double. In spite of the economy, NAPE will continue to grow. I want to thank the National for finding time to be with us. We can only promise you that things will only get better. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, thank you. I guess he took out some of those words from my mouth because we can't thank the National enough. They have given us the necessary strength and the backbone to fly. According to my chapter, from now, we're going to be flying. All right, so these are a few of the announcements we have for us today. Okay, as we are away, just as this is happening here in Port Harcourt, technical business meetings are happening in some other places. Not immediately, some have happened and some will still happen. This one is happening immediately, just as ours happened. But that is our concern. Our concern today is to draw attention to the fact that we have our annual international conference on exhibition coming up in November with the following team. And it's expected that all of us will make appropriate plans to be part of this annual conference. So please mark your calendars, schedule your activities to make sure you're part of the annual conference. And it will be happening in Lagos at Eco Hotel with the team listed. So we have our first call of call for abstracts. So for the researchers and the scholars and business partners that wants to show to the global audience of National Explorationist their new technology, innovations, ideas, and their challenges as well, because those days my prof used to tell me, your thesis shouldn't only end in positivity. A negativity thesis is equally a research. What that means is that no matter whatever your challenges are in carrying out your businesses, people need to hear from them and people need to learn from them so that we will grow from there. So if you have those challenges and you have a bottleneck, you don't know how to go about it, please bring your presentations to NAPE and you'll be shocked at the level of contributions you have from the professionals. Again, it's not about the technical presentations. We equally have opportunities for corporate bodies to exhibit their entire entity, whatever they do, tell the audience whatever they do. So we have exhibiting spaces at the Eco Hotel that corporate bodies can as well take up. This is very important. For all of us who are members of NAPE, it is expected there will not be any NAPE without our financial commitment. It's expected that we'll pay our dues. Then for those of us who are not yet, please do well to identify with the association. It's a place to be. a very good platform to interact and advance your business. The amounts are there for the various categories of membership. Okay, that will be it for Port Harcourt announcement. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, GS. With the permission of the chairman, maybe we'll bring this section to a close and prepare for the interactive section. Sir, any other comments? Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Just to say that it's been a wonderful time. And I want to say that the new coordinator, you are doing a good job. Emo has set a very high standard. So it's very wise of you to keep him by your side. And so we will encourage you to please soar as high as possible. We're not competing with Lagos, no way. We're only complimenting them. Thank you very much. And thank you for coming. And it's a wonderful time to see so many colleagues and old friends and students. Good day, good afternoon.
NMGS, think we missed it. Apologies. Can you just take 1 minute? I know that this is matter after the fact. Please, 1 minute.
Please permit me to stand on existing protocols. I'm really excited to be here today. We've been at the conference for, I think, about 2 weeks now. So we got into town yesterday. I think Mo called me. And I said, no, Mo, you, my leader, I must come. So, and then Magnus here too is my very good friend. And then the first technical lectureship program series that we started last year. Magnus was really a pivot to that. Most of our presentations and visuals, he has been able to help us to get that through. And we had a very good business meeting here. So I was thinking that maybe this year we will start our own technical business meetings before him, but he has beaten me to that, no problem. So I really want to thank our elders here, my fellow, Professor Emeritus, the TLP chairman is our consultant. So I'm seeing him here this year, first time. Prof, you're welcome, sir. And our fellow, Dr. Constance, she just celebrated her birthday. Unfortunately, we could send a gift to you. So we still have it. And then the president of NAPE, my greetings to you, I think during the council meeting, but unfortunately we didn't have time to interact. And then professor here, I think I've heard so much about you, but I have this opportunity to meet with you. Please, our colleagues here, you see that the life of any technical business meeting like this is basically the sponsorship. So I want to thank Shell. You are doing so much for NAPE. Please, we are going to call on you, answer. Help NMGS as a parent body. No, not Bill. This is the business time now. So let me do the business. So, and I have some NMGS, NAPE practicing professionals too. Thank you for your support to the profession you are trying. And then I'm meeting new business people here and all that. We'll be interacting very soon. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As we round off this first segment, please, there's an interactive section with the National ESCO of NAPE. It's all about moving the association forward. So please, but we'll just take maybe 10 minutes interval to have our light refreshment. But before we do that, I'll call on the Madam Medi to close us for this first section that we'll do.
Before the closing. Sorry, I skipped the fact that the young professional, NAPE Young Professional Coordinator for Port Harcourt chapter, I would like to have all the YPs around after the section for a discussion. Then the students, if we have students in our midst, same, we'd like to have you behind the stage for a discussion. Thank you.
Okay, without wasting time, if we can be on our feet to honor God. We'll just say a very short prayer. Father, we thank you for we felt your presence in this meeting. We ask, Lord, that this first meeting is just a stepping stone for greater meetings in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, you would lead us, you would direct us, and at the end, it shall be a success story. Everyone that we need to be part of this meeting, Father, you will pull them from the industry, from the schools, from the students, wherever, that this meeting will be memorial meetings till the end of the year in Jesus' name. Thank you, Father. Also, we sanctify the meals with in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Thank you for Jesus' name.
Thank you. So we can just take our light refreshment as we prepare for the interactive. Please, all stakeholders are to stay back and discuss with the president. We want to see how we can move NAPEP forward in Port Harcourt. There's a light refreshment. All the MDs, CEOs, please. You are highly welcome for this interactive section. It's business now. Is it? Okay. Please, all business partners, all CEOs, we need your attention. We can take our meal and come back to our seat, please.
Please don't forget we still have the sharpshooters in case if you need your headshot, you need your picture, you didn't snap. Those that were early, they've taken their headshot. So if you need yours, you can take it as well while you will take the refreshment. Thank you.
Please, YPs and students, YPs and students. Can you see me here, please? YPs and students. Can we meet here briefly? YPs and students. NAPE YPs. Let's meet here, please. NAPE YPs, students. Let's meet here briefly. Yeah, YPs and students, let's meet here.
Hello, please, can we settle down, please, so that the president wants to address us? Please, all stakeholders, please, can we sit down? Can we sit down? As YP is having their meeting, please, can others sit down, please? So as we're interacting, the president will be discussing with us, all stakeholders. Please, can we all settle down? Please, can we all settle down? Please, can we all settle down? Please, let's settle down. Please, can we all settle down? Please, can we all settle down? It's time for the interactive session.
Hello. Please, let's settle down. Let's settle down for the interactive session with the president, please. All right, please, let's have our seat. Let's have our seat, please. For a quick one, let's have our seat for the interactive session with the president, please. Yes, please. Please, let's have our seat. Let's have our seat, please. Let's have our seats. Please. Hello. Please. Let's have our seats for the interactive session with the president, please.